How you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles classic animated series action figures from NECA Toys. Now, if these figures look kind of familiar to you, it's because NECA actually released them a couple years ago as a box set for San Diego Comic-Con. It is the exact same figures with the same accessories, only now they've been broken up into 2-packs along with new packaging. The packaging is pretty standardized for these. It's a window box style, so the figures are clearly displayed. You've got those classic turtle colors with the yellow and green. Up at the top, you've got the names of the characters, and down below, you've got artwork for the characters along with the classic animated series logo. On the sides of the packaging, you have images of the figures, same on the back, and then there's a standardized bio that's the same on all 4 2-packs. The way they break these 2-packs up, you get Michelangelo versus a foot soldier, Donatello versus Krang, Raphael versus a second foot soldier, and Leonardo versus Shredder. These are being sold as Target store exclusives. They're hitting shelves now and they cost about $50 each. You will have to go into the physical Target stores to get these. As I understand it, these will not be made available on the Target website. And then there's already a second wave of these figures planned, which will feature Rocksteady and Bebop. We saw those on display at Toy Fair last month. They also said at Toy Fair that they had 18 figures already in the pipeline for this line, which will be a mixture of both movie and animated series. So definitely sounds like they've got some cool things planned for you turtle fans out there. Okay, so let's get these open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at all the figures outside the packaging along with their other contents. Okay, so let's start off looking at all the accessories that come with each 2-pack. And so with Leonardo, you get the katana blades, his classic signature weapons, along with an extra pair of open hands. He also comes with a closed communicator. For Shredder, you get a sword, so not only do you have his blades on his hands, but he does have a sword as well. He comes with a communicator so he can talk with Krang, and then he comes with 3 different pairs of hands. A pair of closed-fisted hands that are attached to the figure, and then a pair of grip hands for the sword, and then just open hands. And then the final thing Shredder comes with is this weird canister. I don't know if that's supposed to be ooze or something. It is a blue. It's 2 shades of blue, and it's got some shapes on the top. So it doesn't look like what I would think of for an ooze canister, but that's the only thing that comes to mind. So again, I'm not entirely sure what that is. If you know, be sure to chime in the comment section. As for the blades on Shredder's hands, they are made with a rubber material, so you don't have to worry about them snapping off, but some of them might get a little warped in the packaging, so if that happens, you may just want to take a hairdryer or something. But I am glad that they actually made it a softer material so you don't have to worry about them breaking off. Leonardo does have a place to store his swords when you're not having him hold them in his hands, so he's got these little sheaths on the back there that are attached to the belt. It is a pretty tight fit. The sheaths are made with a rubber material, but it is a pretty tight fit, so just use a little caution. You don't want to bend the swords too much or what have you, but they do fit nice and tight in there, so you don't have to worry about them falling out at all. And you can kind of adjust them how far down you want them. You can push them all the way down, though it'd be really hard for him to grab his swords if you push them that far down, so you probably want to just kind of have them in there so that he can reach them with his hands. Next up, we've got Donatello and Krang. So for Krang, you've got his walker, which is kind of part of the figure, but it is separate. You can take Krang out, and then he also has a little stand that you can sit the head on so that when he's not in the walker, he still can kind of get around. You don't have to just set him on the ground, which is cool. And it will be cool if one of the 18 figures that they're doing for this line is his android body. That's definitely something I would love to see from NECA Toys. Now for Donatello, he comes with 2 versions of the communicator. He comes with an open version and a closed version. He's the only one that comes with both versions. And then he comes with an extra pair of hands, which are kind of repetitive. They're grip hands like the ones that are attached to the figure. Best I can tell, they're a little tighter, so maybe for the communicator. And then he comes with his bow staff. And the bow staff does come apart there at the middle. It just attaches with a little peg. Now like Leonardo, Donatello has a place to store his weapon on the back here. There's this little loop on his belt. So with this, that's why you want to be able to take the bow staff apart. And the easiest way to do it is just, string the bottom part there so it sticks up a little bit, and then you just plug it back in. so you don't have to string the whole thing through, and it does fit in there nice and tight. Now, one other thing I want to note here is you notice that, you know, the turtles, they have their bandana pieces that stick out here, and these are actually removable. They plug in with little pegs. However, with my Donatello figure, I don't know what happened here, but mine seems to be missing his for his bandana piece. I checked the packaging to see if it was in there, but I didn't see it. I don't think I lost it. You know, I don't think it fell out of the packaging, so for whatever reason, it just didn't seem to be included. But just note that those are removable, those bandana pieces, and hopefully with yours all will be attached. Next up, we've got Raphael and a foot soldier. So Raphael, he comes with his signature psi weapons. Then he comes with an extra pair of hands so he can hold the psi weapons with the fingers kind of sticking out. And finally, he comes with a slice of pizza, which is made with a rubber type material. For the foot soldier, you get two different weapons. You get a blaster and a rifle, and then you get 3 pairs of hands with this figure. You get a pair of closed fists, a pair of open hands, and then a pair of grip hands for holding the weapons. Now, Raphael does not have a specific place on his belt to store his weapons. He doesn't have like little loops or anything, but you can just slide the weapons into the side of his belt here. So there's little openings there, and the blades do just slide in there. So again, technically there's not little loops or anything, but you can slide the psi weapons there on the side so he doesn't have to just hold them. Okay, and then finally we have the Michelangelo and foot soldier 2-pack. So with the foot soldier, and I should note about the foot soldier that this foot soldier and the one we saw before are the exact same figures. They do have different weapon accessories. They both come with the same kind of hands. You get the closed fist, the grip hands, and then the open hands. And then with this one, you get a different rifle than what we saw with the previous foot soldier. This one is a bigger rifle. And I don't think this is something you really saw him use in the cartoon, the foot soldiers use in the cartoon. But the thing to note about these figures is they were originally done as video game based figures and then redone for the animated series. And so this is really a weapon that you saw the foot soldiers use in the video game as opposed to the cartoon. I won't swear that we didn't see these in the cartoon, but again, these are definitely something you saw in the video games. Now for Michelangelo, he comes with an extra pair of thumbs up hands. He has another open communicator. So we've seen the open and closed communicators with the other figures. He comes with an open one. And then he comes with a grapple hook thing, so with a real rope. And this actually opens up, so it's like a little grapple. So you saw this in the cartoons. Now these little grapple pieces are pretty flimsy plastic, so I wouldn't actually try and hook it on something and try and have it hold the figure, the weight of the figure, because this would snap off. But these do close in. Looks like a turtle shell and everything. And you know, again, this is actual rope, so that's kind of cool. And then you get his signature nunchucks, which are put together with an actual chain. One thing I do want to note with mine, unfortunately, when I took it out of the packaging, the one handle had broken off the chain. Looks like the little clip piece had broken off. I couldn't find it in the packaging, so I may try and find some way to glue this on, but just be careful when you're handling these. These little gray hooks are just plastic and can probably break off pretty easily. And then he also has this alternate spinning nunchuck piece. So the way this works is one of these nunchucks has a piece that screws off. It's actually this one, which is part of the one that broke, but you just screw this top piece off, and then you can put this thing on it and just kind of push it in there, and then have him hold it so it looks like he's spinning the nunchuck. And it's done with a translucent plastic with the brown and everything, and it does actually spin, so that's kind of cool. And like with Raphael, they did not actually include any kind of loops to store his nunchucks on his belt, but you can once again just slide them there on the side of the figure, and they'll stay in there nice and tight. Okay, now for the figures themselves, starting with the foot soldier. So like I said before, these two figures are exactly the same. They just repackaged the same figure, but that's okay. They all look the same in the cartoon anyway, and they are army builders, so having more than one is not really a bad thing. I like the head sculpts. You've got the black markings, so like the wrinkles in the mask. You've got the whited out eyes. You've got the foot symbol in red on their foreheads. You've got darker purple on the back black there and lighter purple on the front, and then you've got the black tunic, and you've got the wrist guards there, which are done with a hard plastic. They're actually, it's more of a rubber plastic, I would say. So you do want to be careful and not pull these off too much. They look like they're just glued in there. They're in there good, but you know, if you pull them too hard, you could probably pull them out. And then you've got the skin tone for the hands, and you've got the wrappings on the boot and everything. So overall, these look pretty cartoon accurate to me. Again, these figures were originally done for the video game. Okay, one thing I've got to point out here that I discovered as far as the quality control issue with one of my foot soldiers, it looks like on this one here, the lower right arm, they actually stuck a lower left arm piece on it. So you can see that the guard is facing inward. It should be facing outward like on this figure. So, I mean, you've got the bicep swivel there, so you can turn it so that the guard is now on the outside, but then you can't bend the elbow correctly. The elbow is facing the wrong direction. So your best choice is probably just to have the guard facing inward. You can't move the guards on the figure, so it's not like you can slide it around or anything. So definitely it looks like, you know, they accidentally stuck a lower left arm on the right side of the figure. So I just wanted to note that. Next up, we've got Shredder. So I like the look of this Shredder. I like his cape. It's a soft goods cape, but it actually fits nicely and looks good on the figure. It comes around the front here, so I haven't tried to pop this off in any way. If you can get the head off, you could probably get the cape off, but I'm not going to try it. The head sculpt is good. The mask is not removable or anything. You've got a lighter kind of a bluish gray on the front here, and then a darker gray color on the back, and you've got the line work as well. So overall nice detailing. All these little blades are made with a rubber material, so you don't have to worry about them snapping off, which is nice. The shoulder pads are separate pieces, so they lift up so they won't limit the articulation too much. You've got some nice paintwork, some black lines and stuff there on the arms to give it some muscle tone, and you've got the wrist guards with the blades, and then the blades on his hands. He's got, this is a soft piece, this lower piece here, and the shirt is just a harder plastic with the gray. You've got the black pants, and then again you've got the shin guards with the little blades that are made with the rubber material. So overall, you know, I think this looks good. Again, I really like how the cape looks, even though it's a soft goods cape. I don't usually like soft goods, but I do think it looks good on this figure. Now with Krang, you don't get much of a figure because he was just kind of a brain, but I do like the detailing with this. You've got the little tentacles that stick out here at the bottom. I like this these brown markings and the black, the mixture there, so that's nice detailing. Looks like an actual brain or wadded up chewing gum, which is very much in keeping with how he looked in the cartoon. I really like the eyes. You've got the black and the darker purple there with the eyes. You've got some brown, and you can see his teeth there in his mouth. And again, you've just got these like black marks and some brown for like veins and stuff, which look really good. And then a darker color on the bottom. You've got this indentation for the little stand that he comes with. And the arms are articulated. You can move them up and down. You just pull them out. So you pull them out, they're attached with little ball joints. And so when you want to put him in his walker, this a little cyborg walker thing that you would see him have in the cartoon sometimes, basically what you want to do is you first pull the arms off, and then you just plug them in on the front here. So, you know, in the cartoon, you know, he would actually stick his arms through, but, you know, you don't want to do that since these are hard plastic. That wouldn't be too feasible. So what you do is you just plug the arms in the front here, and you can kind of turn them and however you want to pose them. The tentacles don't have like any kind of elbow joints or anything, so all you can really do is just do them up and down there at that ball joint and swivel them. But I do like that. You've got some nice detailing inside here. You got these little wires here off to the sides and some sculpting detail on the actual seat. You got the clear plastic for the top piece here. The legs are articulated. You can do them back and forth, and they have knee joints as well. These toe things are not articulated, so you just get essentially the knee articulation. And then once you've attached the arms, then you just place the brain portion there inside, and it fits nice and tight. And then you just close it, and so it looks like, you know, he's in there, and then you can have him walk around. So definitely cool. Again, I do hope that they do his android body eventually, but you know, overall I think this is a pretty solid looking figure. You also have some nice detailing on the back of this thing as well, with the little red computer readouts and stuff, so you even have some detailing on the back. Okay, now for the turtles themselves. So for the figures, it is the same body on all 4 turtles, but that's okay because that's pretty much how it was in the cartoons and comics. In fact, I believe it was this animated series where they first incorporated the different colored bandanas. In the original comics, they all had the red bandanas and pretty much all looked identical. They didn't have the initials on their belts either, which was added so that you could tell the turtles apart in the cartoon. So that's all thanks to the cartoon. But the fact that it uses the same body is not a big deal to me. That's really how it should be. The head sculpts are different on all 4 turtles. They have different expressions and different smiles. The head sculpts on Michelangelo and Donatello are very similar. The eyes are a little bit different and they have a little bit different smiles. You can see some teeth here on the side of Michelangelo, which you don't see here on Donatello. And then the face sculpts are more different looking between Raphael and Leonardo. Leonardo actually looks like the angriest of the 4. I would actually have thought that Raphael would have had the angrier face since he's the one that has the temper problems. But as it is, you know, both of them are showing teeth, but a little more teeth with the Leonardo figure. But the only other differences is just the colors. You've got the orange for Michelangelo, you've got the purple for Donatello, you've got the red for Raphael, and you've got the blue for Leonardo. And then on the back, the shells are the same. And the belts are the same other than Leonardo does have the sheath on his for his swords and Donatello has a little loop on his for his bow staff, whereas the other 2 are, you know, don't have anything. You just have to store their weapons off to the side. Now for scale, the turtles are shorter than the Foot and Shredder as they should be, and Krang is the shortest of them all. All 4 turtles are the same height. The 2 foot soldiers are the same height. In fact, Shredder is pretty much the same height as the foot soldier as well. So the turtles all come in right about, I would say, 5.5 inches tall. Then the foot soldier, they come in a little bit over 6.5 inches tall, not quite 6 3/4 inches. Same with Shredder. He comes in just a little bit under 6 3/4 inches tall. And then the shortest is Krang and his walker, which comes in just a little bit over 4 inches. And just in case if you were curious, Krang himself comes in at about 1 inch tall, and then if you stick him on that little stand, then he stands about 1.5 inches, maybe a little bit over. Articulation on these are pretty good. The joints are solid and nice and tight. I haven't had any issues with loose joints or anything. So with the head on the turtles, you can turn to the left and to the right. The neck actually moves as well, and you get some back and forth movement. Can't look down too much, and it can only look up about that much, but you do get head pivot with these, and again, the neck actually moves, so you get back and forth movement there, which is nice. With the arms, you can get the arms out pretty good, and then as long as you do the arms kind of out when you're rotating them back there, you can get the arms all the way around, but the shell does stick out a bit there, and it is a hard plastic, so you can't just do it straight, do a straight rotation. You have to do the arm kind of out. You do get a bicep swivel with these. You get a single hinged elbow with these, so you can bend the elbow that much, and then you get rotation there at the elbow. You get rotation with the hands. You do have hinge joints on the hands. Some, like Leonardo here, have more of an up and down movement or side to side, and then others you get that normal up and down movement. And again, you do have the hinge joints on the hands with all the different various hands. You've got a midsection joint, but these shell pieces on the front and back are solid. There's no cuts in those, so you can basically turn it with the entire shell. The shell piece is actually rubber material, so you might have it kind of bend up a little bit when you're rotating, so just be wary. The back shell is a harder plastic, so just, you know, like I said, be careful with rubbing and such. You can do the splits really well with these figures. You can get the leg forward about that much. Again, the shell pieces come down, but because it's a rubber material, you can kind of have it bend up a little bit, but that's about as far up as you can get. And you really can't do the legs back, again, because of the shell pieces. And you've got a ball hinge joint here, so you've got basically a thigh joint very high up there. You get this knees joints, look like are double hinge knees, but you do have the bandana piece in the middle there, so it does limit that. And then doesn't look like you really get any rotation there at the knee. And then with the feet, you got up and down movement, and you do have a little bit of pivot, but not too much, and 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. The toes are not articulated with these turtles. The foot soldier, you can turn the head to the left and the right. The neck kind of sticks out, but you do get up and down movement with these, and you can pivot there. It's attached with like a ball type joint, so you do get movement, but the neck neck sticks forward with these, so the heads, you know, that you can kind of have them look up pretty good, but you really can't have them look down too much, just straight ahead. With the arms, you can get the arm out pretty good there, and you can rotate. Again, this thing sticks out, his tunic piece with his mask sticks out, but you can kind of do the arms out and rotate around. You get a bicep swivel, you get a double jointed elbow with these guys, and then you've got the rotation and the hinges on the hands with these guys. You've got a midsection joint there, so you can rotate there at the waist. You can do the splits good. His lower tunic is made with a rubber material, and it's got the cuts on the side, so you can still do the splits pretty good. You can get the leg forward about that much, and then you can do the legs back. You've got a thigh swivel up high there. You've got a double jointed knee, so good bending there at the knee with these. You do get a boot cuff swivel with these, and then hinges, so up and down movement, and you do get some pivot. And these guys do have toe articulation, so you've got the up and down movement there, and 2 peg holes on the bottom with their. And then finally with Shredder, you can turn his head to the left and to the right. He can look down about that much and straight ahead, but he can't look back because of the helmet. You've got the line work for the articulated portion of the helmet, but it's not actually articulated, and it is a hard plastic. And you get some head pivot with him, so you can pivot back and forth. With the arms, the shoulder pads are separate pieces, so you know that doesn't limit too much of the arm movement, so you can get the arm up good. You can do the arm out and around. Again, you know, you do want to do it out and around. I do want to, you know, recommend caution, because if you pulled on this, like I've got a little stress in the plastic already of the rubber material, so you could conceivably maybe rip these off, so I would be careful when you're moving the arms around at the shoulders. You do get a bicep swivel, you get a double hinged elbow with Shredder, you get rotation there with the hands, you get hinges, so up and down movement with Shredder. You do not get an ab crunch, but you get the waist swivel. With the legs, you can do the splits about that much. You know, he can do the splits pretty good. Again, his bottom tunic piece is made with a rubber material, and you've got the cuts on the side there. You've got the thigh swivel up high there. You've got the double jointed knee, so good bending there at the knee. You do get a boot cuff swivel with this one, and then with the feet, you've got the up and down movement, and you do get some ankle pivot, not a whole lot, but some. And again, like with the foot, you do get toe articulation with Shredder, and 2 peg holes on the bottom of his. Okay, and then the final thing I wanted to do in this video is just give you a comparison. NECA is not the only company that has given us collector-oriented figures based on the classic animated series. Both Playmates did figures, and then Tomasi Nations with the SH Figure Arts line did figures. And while all three, I would say, are solid, Playmates actually did a pretty good job with their figures, in my opinion. I do think the paint applications are a bit better on the NECA figure, and you get better accessories. But the NECA figures weren't, or the Playmates figures weren't bad. It's just that they only did the Turtles, and then they also did Rocksteady and Bebop, which I didn't like as much, and then they canceled the line. Same thing with SH Figure Arts. You know, it's not a bad figure. It's a heavy figure. It's got more weight to it. It's got some die-cast metal to it. Articulation is maybe a little bit better. I would say maybe even articulation is a little bit better on the Playmates one than the NECA figure. But again, you've got better paint applications and better accessories with the NECA figures. And then the biggest plus over the SH Figure Arts is just price. While the NECA figures aren't necessarily cheap, they are still cheaper than the SH Figure Arts one. And I think overall, in the long run, you're going to get more character selection. You know, like I said, with Playmates, they did Rocksteady and Bebop, and then they canceled. They didn't do anything more. We were originally going to get Shredder and Krang, but they didn't release those. Same thing with Tomasi Nations. They did the 4 Turtles. They showed us a Shredder figure, but they never released it, and it seems like both companies just gave up on the collector-oriented stuff for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So NECA, I am hopeful we'll get at least those 18 figures that they say they have in the pipeline, and we will get a lot of variety of characters with this line. Okay, and so that brings me to the end of my review, and overall I do like these figures. I think for the most part they're well made as far as the construction goes, nice tight joints and everything, good articulation, nice paint applications, and a wide range of accessories. I did have some QC issues with these figures, in particular with the Michelangelo and the nunchuck being broken in the packaging, and then the missing bandana piece with my Donatello figure. And then the biggest QC issue was with one of the foot soldiers having, looks like a lower left arm on the right on the right side of the figure. So not a huge deal. I mean, definitely I can work with it, but I would definitely say NECA should definitely watch those things. You know, not all figures are going to be perfect. I understand that, but being I had 3 QC issues with these figures is definitely something worth noting. But still, if you're a Turtles fan, you know, I think these are worth checking out. Now, if you do have the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive versions, you really don't need to get these. They are the same figures, but otherwise, you know, I would start checking your Target stores now. And, you know, we've got more figures on the way. We've got Rocksteady and Bebop in Wave 2, which I'm excited for. Those definitely look good at Toy Fair, and they say there's 18 figures in the pipeline, so I'm definitely interested to see what else they have in store. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. You know, what figures do you want to see NECA do next for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? It will be a mixture of both movie and animated series, so let me know in the comments section what characters you want to see most from NECA. And we'll have a full image gallery up at Toy News International. There'll be a link in the video description. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm getting really close to 50,000 subscribers, less than 200 to go, and I will be doing something special once I hit the 50,000 mark. Also hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I do upload a new video, and you can follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as well as the Marvelous News and Toy News International message boards, where we are currently running contests to give away $100 store credits to your choice of either Big Bad Toy Store or Megalopolis Toys. If you want more details on that, I'll put links to those contests in the video description. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.